Hi, this video will be a simple but elegant Easter card that I made. It features a little watercoloring, some embossing with gold, and a little doily accent here. The inside is also very simple. The materials that I'm using today is a card base cut 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, a purple mat cut 5 1/4 by 4, a watercolor panel. You can use any watercolor paper you have. I'm using Bristol watercolor paper here. It's cut at 3 1/4 by 5 inches. I have a half of a kraft doily, and I have a piece of fun foam. It's self-adhesive on one side to stick to the card. The inks I'm using today is Memento grape jelly, Versafine Onyx black, and Versamark. This is a watermark stamp. It just puts a sticky film onto your stamp and onto your paper. Then you can use it to emboss. I'm going to be using gold embossing powder, and I also have some gold baker's twine. I have my dollar stamp set. I'm going to be using this Happy Easter. And from Inkadinkado, I got a new stamp set called Spiritual Sketches. I'm going to be using this candle and this Bible verse. Okay, let me clear this stuff up and we'll get started. The first step will be to bring in my Misty tool. I've already put my stamps in place on the door to make this go a little faster. So I'm going to use the Versamark and emboss the candle, and use the Versafine Onyx black and emboss the sentiment. I'm going to take this off camera and emboss it using my heat tool. I have my gold embossing powder already set up, ready to go. Before I do that, since I'm going to be embossing, I have to use my embossing buddy to make sure that the embossing powder does not stick where I do not want it to stick. So you run it all over the surface of your work. This is a clear ink, so you won't be able to see it until I put the embossing powder on it. Let me set this. Let me make a little bit of room here. And I'm pouring the embossing powder over a coffee filter so I can pour it right back into the jar once I'm finished. Okay, you just knock off the extra, and if you have a little bit of extra like I have here, give it a put. You just grab a clean paintbrush and you just wipe the extra powder off. I think I missed the head of the candle. Yep, there we go. Okay, I'm going to take this off camera and emboss it. Okay, now it's all shiny, as you can see. We'll put this rest of this powder away real quick. As you can see, you just take your coffee filter and just pour it right back into your container. You don't lose any. Now I'll set this aside, and I'm going to move on to the next embossing, which will be the sentiment at the top. I've mentioned it a few times that embossing with black powder can be really messy, so I always use the trick to emboss over the black Versafine with clear embossing powder. I have much better success with that, so I don't end up with a few errant artifacts scattered here and there. But the trick about this is you have to have everything ready to go, because the Versafine doesn't stay wet very long. So I'm just inking up my stamp. Make sure that's where I want it to be. Close it, press it, and then just dip it right into the clear embossing powder. Okay, I'm going to take this off camera and emboss it. Much neater. Okay, I'm going to clear this stuff away and move on to the next step. The next step is to do a little bit of watercoloring. I'm using the Distress Stain Wilted Violet and Twisted Citron to add a little color to the front panel. So first I will take a little bit of the Wilted Citron and put it on my clear block. I have some water here and a paintbrush. So I'm going to put a little water onto the candle area and pick up the color and just drop it right over that. Very simple. Now I want it to be a few extra highlights of color, so I'm going to add a little bit more color and not add any more water and just dab it here and there to increase the color, and then give it a little thing. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the sentiment, except this time I'm going to use a Twisted Citron. Anyone who knows me by now has a pretty good guess that green and purple are pretty much my favorite colors together, so I tend to do a lot of green and purple cards. Again, picking up a little extra color and blending it here. Okay, I'm going to take this off camera and dry it with my heat tool. You could let this air dry if you wanted, but I'm going to speed this up with my heat tool. Okay, now here is my panel, all colored and dried. Set this aside. And now going on to the inside of the card. The inside of the card just has a simple sentiment and a happy Easter greeting. And the happy Easter I will be putting in grape jelly. I thought this purple was very complementary to the outside mat. Okay, I'll clean those stamps later. I'm trying to just speed through here. Okay. Press the seam with my bone folder. And I'm going to, usually I put the panel to the mat, but in this case I'm going to put the mat on the card base, because this helps me to figure out how much space to leave for the doily. So this is just my personal preference for doing it this way. And now the doily, I want it to be pretty much centered. So because this is such a flimsy material, I'm only going to put a little bit of adhesive on this side. But of course I had it upside down, so hope it doesn't stick. It's the problem when you're doing stuff live on camera. There we go. Now I want it to be pretty much straight and at the edge of the purple. There. Now I'll take the fun foam and adhere it to my panel. Let's see, I have a little bit of yellow sticking over, so we'll just trim that so I can't see it. There. I'm using my ATG gun, and I'll just tape right on top. It has no problem sticking to the fun foam, and put it in place flush with the edge of the card. Okay, as with rhinestones, buttons, and now string, it's difficult for me to get a good bow, but we'll do our best. So take a good bit of thread to allow enough to make the bow and run it through the card. I think that's enough. hope I broke the fibers enough that it's more controllable. You make partial bow. I may have to just speed this part up so you won't have to suffer through it with me. Oh, got it. Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, whew. Finished. That's the card. It's very simple, very quick. I hope you'll try it yourself. You can recreate this look with any stamps and sentiments that you had, any colors. It's very simple, and I hope that the recipient of this card, I think it's going to go for either my mother or one of my cousins. I'm not quite sure yet, but I hope the recipient is glad to get it. Please try to make this card yourself. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. I try to put out new content pretty frequently. Thanks for watching and have a good day and happy Easter.